and nothing happens.
Young white people like shit for their entire life. I wonder why they're growing resentment. But black
Fuck, are you serious?
Okay, white.
And the other day, I was actually in space talking about my experience. I had a black person in space to control what happened to him. And I'm like, what do you mean what happened to you? Black people, that's what happened to me. I'm like, you guys need to apologize for these experiences.
Jesus fucking Christ, bro.
I feel how you guys feel about women. I feel the same way about them too. Anyways, guys, make sure you like the video. Please subscribe to the notification bell. Don't forget, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Alright, women.
I have been used to ejaculate prematurely until this.
Fuck me hard in the anus.
Here, this quote is unlike anti-quote.
Oh, yes.
It's for me. Why my husband was prescribed this multivitamin. Early climax issues.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hardline, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the news today brought to you by Hardline. Obviously, the shutdown is from Democrat, no Kings, Chuck Schumer shutdown was an absolute disaster. It was a disgrace. But sometimes, even though bad things happen, you gotta look at the silver lining of it all. And in this case, the silver lining of it all is the Democrats' presentation has been forced into the conversation that I think we can probably regret at this point. That's of course a bomb.
Son of a fucking bitch.
Of course, as we know, H-1B was supposed to be a very narrow, high-skill immigration valve, meaning H-1Bs were really supposed to fill very limited talent gaps in the country was experiencing, with needing more high-skilled physicists, a certain level of competency, or experts in particular fields of, let's say, precision manufacturing. American universities weren't filling all the job gaps. When we need to use H-1Bs for those very specialized jobs, but obviously what's happening is these programs have been managed to fill conducted over 1,000 site visits across the Minneapolis St. Paul area as part of this operation. Focusing on the list of over 1,000 target cases involving more than 900 individuals, officers encountered racial marriage fraud, visa overstays, people claiming to work at federal places can't be found, fraud documents, abuse of the H-1B visa system, abuse of the F-1 visas, and many other
discrepancies. Over the course of the operation, our officers found indication of fraud, non-compliance, or public safety and national security concerns in nearly a little less than 50% of the cases interviewed. We found troubling patterns with the Uniting for Ukraine program that should have raised serious concerns under other administrations, such as an individual filing to sponsor more than 100 aliens, and organizations sponsoring hundreds. We are continuing to investigate these cases.
Anybody say Ilhan Omar? You know, there you go. Massive fraud rackets. Blatant marriage fraud. Visa overstays. Forged documents. HIV and F1 abuse. And obviously there's an ecosystem of fraud here. It's essentially H1B conveyor system operating across the country under the federal organizations that act as H1B consultants. They're either operating as middlemen for big corporations or the ones who qualify for that visa category. But instead, the practice has become something along the lines of bring your buddy, bring your cousin, bring your uncle, marry your freaking uncle. Uber and Amazon need more human capital out of freaking control. You know, forever that fast, we want to have a conversation. It was just a talking point, right? Anybody wants to text it, our beautiful program, spreading a right-wing right-wing it's not. It's freaking reality. The reason they were saying that is because they didn't want any attention being turned to what's actually going on. It's rampant abuse. Unfortunately for Democrats, no matter how many crocodile tears they shed, this administration is cleaning up the fraud. The Trump administration now announcing a full-force crackdown on H1B fraud.
Almost all investigations now have been brought forward, and what's important to recognize is that there are companies who are using who are abusing the program. What we want to make sure is we're always protecting the American worker. That's absolutely correct. Not all things are and or. They can be together. And what we want to make sure is that we're providing the skilled workforce so that Americans have these jobs first and foremost. If that is not the case, and these businesses need to apply for the H1B visa program, we want to make sure that they're following the law and not abusing the American workers with foreign workers. That is not the goal of the president. We want integrity. I want to work with the Department of Homeland to make sure that they're doing that. So Project Firewall, it is the first time in history that the Secretary will use all the tools, and I have been able to sign personally some of these investigations. We will clamp down on these companies who are abusing and depressing wages and not protecting the American worker first.
Fantastic. Lock it in. Identify the fraud rings. Indict the organizers. This might sound political, but trust me when I say it's not. Expose the Democrat cities and states that are enabling this. You know, there's a reason that they're fighting tooth and nail to stop this administration from getting their hands on the data. We had Democrats gaslighting us last month. No health care being handed to illegal immigrants. Okay, well, maybe give us the data, right? Well, the Trump administration to come in and see what's going on. Create programs elsewhere. Why not allow the federal government to inspect your border and buy your land? No. It's totally unnecessary.
Fuck me hard. Fuck.
That's the next pivot. Another uncomfortable conversation for Democrats. And another act coming from this administration that's likely to cause mass left-wing panic. According to the Trump administration, they're now tackling EBT fraud by forcing recipients to have to reapply to verify that they are in fact illegitimate recipients of food aid.
Can you imagine we get our hands on the booster dollars? What we're going to find? It's going to give us a platform and a trajectory to
program with millions of beneficiaries, and they're just rubber stamping auto renewals. It's less of a safety net, more of a safety freaking luxury couch. You got people trafficking EBT for cash. You got duplicate identities taking dollars. You got cross-state benefits. I mean, scams. scandal. And it's high time you tackle the fraud and publish all the findings. The left will tell you that this is so cruel. No, it's not. It's common sense. It's the right thing to do if people are receiving these benefits who have no business receiving these benefits. Well, then the cruelty is on the taxpayer. A government that's been running massive auctions, stacking trillions of dollars in debt, is being put in this to Americans. That's the cruelty. The abuse. That's what's happening. The beautiful is the premise has been set to really go all out because that's the conversation that's really sprung up since the government shutdown. Well, now with this renewed focus on this important issue, I gotta tell you, it seems that there's gonna be a lot of interesting findings and some decisive action being taken. Things are about to get real interesting and real spicy. Of course, I'll keep you guys updated. That's what I got for you for now.
It's movie night at cinema. So grab your popcorn, get back in the comfy seat, throw on your PJs, and snack like no one's watching. As they say, go big or stay home. I said, thank you. That video launched the brand and it completely changed my life. Super DIY, but every month is new. 2 months in, I quit my job, the ad came out, and we were really excited about it. 2 years later, we were shipping out 100,000 orders every month. In 2021, we launched Rex, a drink to help people wind down, recover. We got into Target and 5,000 stores across the country. We launched some new coffee alternative brands, opened a cafe in Santa Monica. Got on the news, one best places to work in Week magazine, BBC, even covered us for our Take on Microdosing network. Categories fell out for no caffeine and functional medicine, and some of the
Son of a bitch!
So a lot has changed since that ad in 2019, but the reason why I started this company hasn't. We build healthier rituals when it comes to how we rise from focus, productivity, how we rest, relax, recover, stay together, and in community. But we're not going to stop there. We're building a platform for mental wellness, and the next story we're launching is around how we think. Because let's be honest, are we stuck at it? In terms of ultra processed, of adults are overweight or obese, over half are diabetic or on their way, and we've got a dad bod epidemic. I know, because I have one. Running a company, raising a wild little human.
Well, you shut the fuck up, you fucking pussy ass bitch. Oh, fuck, dude. Just wanna play. I'm a little bitch, and then you shut the fuck up.
It's happening
this past week, which is ironic because it didn't receive that much attention when July was here and inflation was at a record high 9%, the worst inflation crisis in modern American history. And President Trump won a landslide election in part to address the affordability issues created by Joe Biden and the Democrats. To sabotage our economy, rob people of their paychecks, and also help Joe Biden ratchet up inflation to 9%, are now suddenly affordability champions. That notion is completely absurd. And it's something only the liberal media.
Oh!
The reality is that President Trump and his
That's so not cool, dude. That's so not fair.
His team of amazing economic advisors are going to keep working on this issue every single day. In less than 10 short months, President Trump signed the largest middle-class tax cuts in American history. to the lowest in 5 years and we expect it to continue to decrease. Energy costs are low. There is more work to do, but again, the President's deregulatory and pro-American energy agenda is absolutely going to continue to drive down prices. This formula worked in the President's first term, and we expect that it's going to work again. And this is key because we know energy costs are the number one driver of inflation. Again, let's look at what Joe Biden did to our energy industry over the past 4 years of his administration, and look at what happened to inflation as a result. Everything became more expensive. To lower prescription drug prices and healthcare costs, the President has been working around the clock on this issue. He is obsessed with negotiating these good deals on behalf of the American people. Unnecessary regulations for every new one on the books, we know will save employers and small businesses across the country thousands of dollars through regulatory burdens. All of these pro-Trump policies are working, and they will continue to work. Wages are rising at the fastest pace of the start of a presidential administration in 60 years. And by nearly $3,000 per year. There's much to do, and the administration will continue to do it. In cleaning up the economic disaster that was created by Joe Biden. With that, I will take your questions today. Here in the media seat, we have Bev Turner, who works for a new outlet, a UK outlet that's based here in Washington, D.C., GB News.
What am I supposed to do, bro?
The clock is ticking on the Friday deadline that we want to both leaders in their time that have gone to the United Kingdom. He's always been very frank when he disagrees with leaders. And the BBC, being a fair news organization, is definitely out there. I think these two leaders would disagree. The president has made it very clear that this is a machine that is unfortunately something with its taxpayers. And he thinks that's extremely important for the people. And dishonest editing of his speech that was so clearly fake news. And he's also done that years ago, and this is a concept of media. And see in the United States all the time, and see it now in the United Kingdom, and the president's external legal counsel has filed lawsuits against the BBC. He expects that to continue, and the record will apologize and that is up to that.
I have your statement about the Epstein emails that have been released by House Democrats. Separate from why you believe that the emails were being covered, can you address their substance? Did the president ever spend hours at Epstein's house?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was free. And this email you refer to with the name of the victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it was in it. And it was CBS's own reporting news that recently wrote that Ms. Jeffrey maintained
and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And so I think it's a question worth asking the Democratic Party and actually of all the names, my husband, who has already publicly made statements about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein in
In the interest of transparency, why not just go ahead, release the full files on Epstein, get this all over with?
This administration has done more with respect to transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration ever. In fact, this administration, the Department of Justice, has turned over tens of thousands of documents to the American people. We are cooperating and showing support for the House Oversight Committee. That's part of the reason you are seeing these documents that were released today, because of the House Oversight Committee's and Republicans' efforts to get these out to the public. This administration also moved, the Department of Justice also moved to unseal grand jury testimony, which we know, unfortunately, a judge declined those requests. So this administration has done more than any, and it just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax by the Democrat Party. For now, they're talking about it all of a sudden because President Trump is in the Oval Office. But when Joe Biden was sitting in there, the Democrats never brought this up. This wasn't an issue that they cared about because they actually don't care about the victims in these cases. They care about trying to score political points against President Trump, as we have, of course, seen with this government shutdown. And this entire thing, again, it's not a coincidence to the American people at home. There are no coincidences in Washington, D.C., and it is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government. This is another distraction campaign by the Democrat and the liberal media, and it's why I'm being asked questions about Epstein instead of the government reopening because of Republicans and President Trump.
In transparency, Caroline, why are White House officials then meeting?
Why does Donald Trump have such a small pee-pee?
Beautiful. Just beautiful. Alright, just the guy I need to talk to.
Introducing the only
Right, there's a
prescription
car
hair
stuck with a
regrowth
stiff
gummy
in the
in America.
cafe
The
near
monoxide plus
Callahan Point.
gummy by
One of the
Hertz.
Pirelli
Formulated
stories
by
is a wise guy, so we got one of can't come into
innovative 2-in-1
take the
gummy
cost
with
of the crusher
prescriptions
off,
and
all right?
clinically proven to regrow your hair in just 3 to 6 months. And biotin for healthy hair support. So you can get all the benefits in a convenient one-step solution. Plus, the taste of green apple flavor will make it your favorite biotin flavor too. Regrowth made simple with the medicine plus biotin ingredient. Start today before hair skin fall. I cannot believe it's already been over 3 years of my BetterHelp therapist. After 3 years of therapy, this is what they're talking so much. I met my therapist and I went through a really big life transition and I knew he started to talk to a person about things and based on the self resources like emotional and personal growth, which I'm not going to continue to do. But I really regulating. I have all these tools now that help me with my anxiety. I am so proud of myself, but it was very important for me to find a therapist that I actually liked.
Bitch, shut the fuck up. I don't fucking care.
Featured story, we're going to talk all
Shit.
about the Epstein files, which were finally published this week, although not all of them. And you might recall where we left off on this one. So, we closed this case in July. And understand what actually took place. He didn't stall, he didn't postpone the release of the files. He didn't even say he wouldn't release them. In July, he said there are no files. Trump said there are no Epstein files. They don't exist. There aren't any. He said the only thing that is left to disclose is all the. In other words, it's the actual video or photo recordings of underage girls. He said those are the only articles of evidence that are out there. There's no emails, there's no text, letters, there's no other persons of interest, no third parties, there's no other investigations. They said that none of that is real. To which the people replied, that's obviously a lie. And not only is it a lie, it's a lie. Now you're actively complicit and involved in the power of the Epstein conspiracy, which is arguably worse. And so this happened back in July. Congress was about to go into recess for the summer, but they took their recess almost a month early. Because Republicans and Democrats were going to work together to force the DOJ to release the files. So Congress literally went home early. They shut down all their official business and they went home early for no reason other than that if they stayed in session, they might have been forced to release the Epstein files. So they went into recess. Then, when they returned, there was the government shutdown. It's interesting timing, isn't it? Sort of convenient. Then all of a sudden, the Democrats shut down the government for no reason at all. They shut down early, then they go on recess, then they come back, and for literally no reason, the Democrats said it was about Obamacare subsidies, because we discussed earlier in the week. They agreed to open the government without getting Obamacare subsidies. So that was not the real reason. They shut down the government, and it's the longest government shutdown in history. 45 days.
even before.
Now that the government is reopened, it's starting. From July.
4 months legally, that's absolutely insane. You should ask yourself, why do you think it took so long? And as well, isn't it kind of weird that Donald Trump said he could solve the war between Russia and Ukraine in 24 hours, but he can't release the Epstein files in almost half a year? That's kind of suspicious, right? And why do you think that many sides to the Donald Trump is in the Epstein files? But if you're really trying to take the sound of these I believe Donald Trump is trying to focus on things like, why would he not release those files? We should ask ourselves this. Nick will explain this, Nick will expose Donald Trump, and maybe this is one of the most influential videos on my whole channel because maybe this is gonna be fire.
Congress says in a recess a couple weeks ago, and this government shutdown measure, they just reopened the government this week. And now, the House Oversight Committee released the first tranche of vaccine powers. And this is the story from the New York Times. I'm going to go through it and we'll talk about some of the specific emails that were released. And so, quote, the marketing and secretary voice of Jeffrey Epstein emerged from a trail of more than 20,000 emails from Republican lawmakers on Wednesday, including his claim that President Trump once spent hours at my house on the island with a young woman who later accused Mr. Epstein of sexually abusing and trafficking her when she was a teenager. So, according to the emails, Epstein places
Just
Trump
beautiful.
potentially on his island
All right, just the guy I
while
need to talk to.
child sexual abuse was occurring. This is in the first trove. In a series of emails with friends and associates, Mr. Epstein described Mr. Trump as a brilliant businessman who was borderline insane, untrustworthy, and worse in real life and up close than the image he sought to portray to the public. The document referenced the latest act in the rapidly unfolding political drama involving Speaker Mike Johnson and the Republican majority. They shuttered the House for the past 2 months in part after installing a bipartisan effort to force a floor vote on the bill, which will compel the Justice Department and FBI to release specific documents. This one involving an investigation into Mr. Epstein and his longtime associate Ghislaine Maxwell. The advocate gathered enough supporters to force a vote within weeks, and Mr. Johnson said he would relent and bring it to a vote next week. Mr. Trump urged Republicans to resist any effort to revive the discussion of his relationship with Epstein, blaming Democrats for the release of the documents and posts on social media, recommending Trump to bring up the Epstein notes again because they will do everything wrong to reflect on how badly they've done in the shadows.
Two more flights to over one. The first thing is a brand new revolution. Just log on to PaxOvernight.com and we'll send you a giraffe.
And no other thing will last for free. So here are a few things to look for in choosing the right place. 1. Aircraft and weather. The first thing to check is the fleet. Safe, modern, and well-maintained airplanes are on the roadside. That's right, our students plan on a standardized fleet of technology, known for their reliability, safety, and performance. And because we have our own on-site maintenance crews, our aircraft are inspected and trained by certified mechanics who know their things inside and out. A fully organized team and professional meetings staff are all the times that they begin. Number 2, take time to talk. When comparing factors, make sure you understand exactly what you're paying for. Ask the store not only for our rate,
Can you shut the fuck up? Shut up. Fuck.
So let's go through this piece by piece. First of all, maybe this is the most obvious thing about the files. The release of this batch of 20,000 emails proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it is black and white, undeniable that Trump is lying. Trump lied about the files, and he lied in the furtherance of a conspiracy and a cover-up. Because what his Department of Justice said in July is for all medical files. They didn't say there are no persons of interest. They didn't say there is no third-party investigation. They didn't say that there's nothing germane to a future investigation. They said there are no files, and they insisted upon this for months. They denied the existence of the files.
Exactly. And this proves you again that you can't trust Donald Trump